Louisiana Beer Reviews, O'Connor, El Guapo, Agave IPA, Agave India Pale Ale. This was sent to me by Douglas in Virginia. Thank you, Douglas. Wow, what a gift. A whole pint can? That's nice. I have never seen this in Louisiana, and I probably never will see this in Louisiana. It says, handsome beer for handsome people. Medium-bodied Agave India Pale Ale with a pleasant citrus nose, notes of sweet caramel, and finishes with a smooth bitterness. Won silver medal at World Beer Championships 2017-2018, bronze medal at Commonwealth Craft Beer Cup 2016. O'Connor Brewing Company, established in 2010 in Norfolk, Virginia, 7.5% alcohol. Independent craft brewer. Bitterness units not listed. Norfolk, Virginia. There's Norfolk State University. Straighten this out a little bit. Okay, fan is not loud. So I put some other agave products up here. Occulto. These were agave beers that Anheuser-Busch introduced years ago, and it didn't succeed. It wasn't good, but I thought they were interesting. Had a peculiar flavor, and they were aged on tequila barrel staves. And then later on, I tried tequila itself, which tasted like that, the agave. This is Jose Cuervo. This is a tequila. It's not 100% agave, but it uses at least 51% agave juice to make that. Tequila must be at least 51% agave. This is Las Tonas, the colors. This is 100% agave. Mezcal is a type of liquor, and legally has to be 100% agave. So these use agave, and this is all agave, and this is using agave. Okay. Now O'Connor, in mid-2023, closed down their brewery, and somebody else bought it, Armed Forces Brewing. But they say on their website they have new and great things coming, so we'll be curious to see the new and great things. Now, Douglas in Virginia sent me this beer, and he had sent me a lager from this company previously, and that was quite proper. It's a proper lager, and the can art here is sort of reminds me of back in the 1980s. You had independent comic book companies. You know, they weren't affiliated with DC and Marvel, the two big companies, and so their artwork would usually be sort of substandard. They just couldn't afford the best artists. But a lot of times the stories were pretty interesting, but just like you could tell the quality of the paper was inferior, and the artwork and just the whole printing was sort of not the best. And I guess these companies, they don't have a lot of money, and none of the independent craft comic book companies really made it. There's a few around today. There's one from Arkansas that they sell at Walmart. I've never bought them, but I thought, they won't last. But it's been like 3 years. They're still on the shelf, so maybe if you do a good job. All right, so O'Connor, we'll see what happens when they say they got a new partner to brew their beers, kind of like Pabst Brewing Company type of situation where their brewery's closed, but they continue with the brands. Because they own the brands and the recipes and the trademarks, just like J&B Scotch, Just Rennie and Brooks Scotch. They don't own distilleries, but they basically have an agreement with another company to produce their whiskey. Okay, so it's not that unusual in the beer, wine, and liquor world. It's not that unusual in soft drinks. Look at most Coca-Cola bottles will tell you produced under agreement with Coca-Cola, and then it'll name the town where they have that franchise. All right, anyway, it's orange and somewhat cloudy, so it's translucent. Light comes through it, but you can't see through it, so it's orange, translucent. little off-white kind of thin head. Pungent bread crust. I don't know about the agave. I know it has it because I'm like literally just finished looking at the website, but I'm mostly getting a bread crust, so it smells more like an amber ale than an IPA, but let's go with the taste. 7.5, that's like an extra IPA. Usually they run about 6.5. All right, let's go with the taste. Cheers. Don't know the IBUs. I didn't see that on the website. They said while they're making their transition, they'll sell beers in the grocery stores and on draft at the bars, but they won't be shipping anything out till they get their new and great situation up and running. This is a very interesting type of bitterness. This is a definite, strong bread crust bitterness. And maybe that's not even a type of bitterness. Maybe it's just the bread crust. But it does seem like there's a bitterness, but piney, classical bitterness and all that. Citrus, no. So this is a unique product. I was just watching a video review. I usually don't do that before I do the reviews. I didn't pay much attention because I was doing the research on the beer, but they were saying basically, well, I don't like this kind of thing. Agave products. I don't like this kind of thing, so I'm going to give it a 3.25. And then the woman was saying, what? That's kind of low. I'm going to give it a 3.75 out of 5. So, like, not very good scores, but they said they admitted they didn't like the product. Kind of like a person that doesn't like cheesecake is going to review cheesecake and then say it's bad because I don't like cheesecake, but it might actually not be bad. Medium bodied, dry finish. This is a unique product. I mean, so many beers that I reviewed taste, they look like, they smell like all these others. This does not taste like any others. The agave syrup or agave extract or agave nectar, whatever they're using, they can buy these products on the wholesale market. Wouldn't be able to make tequila from them. Tequila legally must be made in Mexico. Although you can make a product that's identical to tequila, you would just, in the United States, but you would have to call it an agave liquor, an agave product liquor, or agave product beer. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can make bourbon in Canada, but you can't call it bourbon. You got to call it Canadian corn new charred oak barrel beer, whiskey, you know what I'm saying? I'm thinking the bitterness units must be around 28. Doesn't seem particularly bitter for an IPA, and it does not taste like an IPA. It basically tastes like an amber ale. Sorry, O'Connor, but been around 13 years. But that is what it tastes like. But it's a very good amber ale. Now, the agave is not prominent. Could be tweaking it out, giving it a little unique character, but it's not so prominent. I like that it's a painted on label, a can. It's not just the sticker or the shrink wrap. Don't like the fact that I'm not seeing a date, guys. So I would say put the damn date. And I would say that chaps my chapstick. We got a finite amount of time on this earth, so drink great beer and recycle this can. Well, I'm not going to recycle it, but I will throw it in the trash. So this is brewed and canned by O'Connor, Norfolk, Virginia. So that's telling me this was made right at the end. Maybe it was July, because I think their brewery closed and to transition to the new owners in July. So August, September, October. Yeah, it's not old. For a 7.5 extra IPA, 3.5 months old, 4 months old, in a can, no light hitting it, nah, it's not going to matter. Forget that. You know, the label does look like a sort of an independent comic book. From the mid-90s. Or 80s. More 90s maybe. I can remember back in the late 80s, all these people, not me, all these other people chasing these black and white comic books. They were so cheap they couldn't even afford color printing. They couldn't even afford color printing, so they were black and white. They call it black and whites. And these guys would, it's sort of like craft beer in a way, and craft liquor, craft whiskey, bourbon, or scotch. They would buy just hundreds of dollars worth of these comic books, face value, you know. And you know what they're thinking, right? Oh, yeah, this is going to be worth so much money one day. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like looking at them like, don't do it, you know, but I didn't care. I didn't read comic book. I didn't buy comic books to make money. I just bought them to read, you know. I like the artwork. Usually, you know, it's interesting, but to say I'm gonna make money from it, no. I mean, I wanted them to be worth money, but I never wanted to sell them, because then I wouldn't have them. But beer is the same way. I'm not going to collect beer and keep it in a cellar. I'm going to drink it. I think that I'm eccentric, that I buy beer to drink, not to collect or put it in a storage chamber so I can make a video 8 years later. But I mean, that's fine too. But some people are like more obsessed. They buy beer and never drink it. It's like, no, why would I drink that? And I'm like, well, it is a beverage product. Okay, but same thing with whiskey, but it's fine. Whatever you want to do, it's your money. This is a very intriguing product. Honestly, when I saw the can, I thought it was going to be kind of sorry. Just the can art, I was like, man, this beer is going to taste so cheap and underwhelming. I'm going to be so disappointed. But if you look earlier in the video, you see my face. I tried it, and I'm like, sparkles. I was so excited about it. Yeah. Well, I hope their new setup works, because man, this thing is dino, and the proper lager was quite proper. So, yeah. I think can art and bottle label art does matter though, because there's a lot of stuff out there. It's the consumers shopping. They're not like me, like, you know, like, oh, let me get on the internet and look up beer stuff. They're not doing that. Like the regular consumer, you know, normal people. Well, you know what I mean. They're just at the store, grocery store, and they're buying beer, and they're saying, oh, Miller Lite. My husband loves Miller Lite, you know, and that's a kind of, and it's got a nice label. It's kind of classic label. So there's some aesthetic reasoning behind it. And then when you see things that look like they look a certain way, you know what I'm saying? I want to be delicate. I think some consumers like, and I am being honest. When I saw this in the fridge, because I was pulling them out the box. Douglas, thank you, Douglas from Virginia. He sent them to me. I was just shoving them in the fridge. I was taking care of all the paper and he knows how to pack beer, believe me. But when I looked at this a little while ago, I was like, and I was like, I don't know about this can art. Since it was sent to me and I didn't buy it, obviously that's irrelevant. But for the average consumer, it is relevant, and it does matter, and I think it is important. So that being said, man, this thing is great. Now, it's very low profile, and I'm not taking issue with that because I think it's good if you want to use agave to tweak an IPA or whatever you want to tweak, a stout, whatever. But I think it's a smart. They did a very smart thing. Like they just use a little bit of it and just tweaked it and just gave it a little different approach, and I think it's great. I think this beer is great. So just goes to show you can't judge a book by can't judge a book by its cover or a beer by its can, you know. No, I mean, so yeah, I can't see why I would score this less than a 96. Now, I don't recall what they're giving it on Beer Advocate and Rate Beer and Untappd, but it's not that high, certainly. And there are video reviews for it. But yeah, but they're not going to give it as high a score as I am. But I'm really trying to think about it. I love this thick lacing that just persists, and that's always a good sign. I think that's always a good sign. So yeah, 9.6 out of 10, a 96 out of 100. As mad as that seems, but you can't say I'm being favorable because I don't know anything about these. Well, honestly, I don't know anything about any Virginia brewery. I know that Devil's Backbone is brewed, at least owned by Anheuser-Busch, but I think they pretty much independently operate. They got bought out years ago. But beyond that, I know nothing. I mean, literally nothing. If Douglas sends it, then I know it because I'm drinking it. But otherwise, I don't do research. I don't read about the companies. I don't have any particular interest in the companies. I do follow Virginia basketball, baseball, and football, you know, college teams, just to follow them and see what they're doing. I say, oh, look, the Richmond Spiders, they in second place in basketball this year. Oh, look, Norfolk State, man, they terrible in baseball this year. What is going on? I cannot believe that. I know they won the conference, you know what I'm saying, and in football. Oh, look, Virginia, they beat North Carolina, and North Carolina was undefeated. I know they feel shamed, you know, that kind of thing. But as far as following it, no. It does not happen. All right, so 9.6 out of 10, a really delightful product. So if you're in Virginia on a trip or business or whatever, and you see this in the stores, a 6-pack or pint cans, oh, you've got to buy it. And hopefully it's fresh, because there's no date, guys. And I'm going to end this review by saying y'all go to Virginia and visit some stuff.